Time now for our Capitol Report. We welcome in CapitolBeatOK.com's Pat McGuigan. And Pat, we appreciate you being here for this Thanksgiving edition of the Capitol Report. We just celebrated Thanksgiving. We give thanks for all that we have, and here in Oklahoma we do have a lot to be thankful for. So put a little political spin on this. What do we have to be thankful for, let's say, economically?
Well, I think, first of all, we've got an economy that absolutely has challenges and is a subset of the national economy, but that comparatively is working. You know, we have 6.1% unemployment compared to the national average. I think the national average actually dropped down slightly to 9%. Huge gap. And interestingly enough, Oklahoma Employment Security Commission, Lynn Gray, I believe, Lynn, pointed out that there's a thread of optimism even in the slight uptick in our unemployment, and that is something we've discussed on this program before. Some of those folks that had given up have decided to try again, to re-enter the marketplace. Now, it's not high drama, but it's worth mentioning that that's actually part of the explanation for the tick up in Oklahoma's unemployment rate. Generally good news, an economy that's actually growing. Quickly, other things. Pensions, we've talked about many times. And I just want to point out that the state gained a lot against its unfunded liability. There's still a lot to do. We'll talk about that another time. But I want to mention that right now there's a half dozen or so active municipal government bankruptcies going on in the United States. And pension problems seem to be a thread through all of those. So at least at the state level in Oklahoma, we're addressing pension issues through our elected representatives and the governor and others, and I think that's good news. Solutions in Oklahoma are within reach. That's more than you can say like in Illinois, which is probably the most dysfunctional government in America right now at the state level, and it's apparently more than what they're able to accomplish in Washington right now on the economic front. So solutions are within reach, and there seems to be a will to try to address them. We'll see how that plays out. One little nugget from the past week that we all in the news business covered was the good news about that incredible success of the food drive that the governor was involved with, and a lot of other worthy folks and businesses to be able to provide some support and help to the people who aren't participating in this comparatively decent or good Oklahoma economy. These are all things that speak well of Oklahoma, its political leadership and its business leadership.
All right, economy aside, what else do we have to be thankful for as we near the end of 2011 and get ready for 2012?
I think there's a line that Winston Churchill, who, you remember his mother was an American, and he had a greater understanding of America than almost any foreign leader in the last 150 years. And Churchill once said that Americans will do the right thing after they've exhausted every other alternative. And I kind of feel like we've had a bad run in America, and I hope that proves to be true of the country as a whole. I believe that in Oklahoma there's a good chance that that's true. And I want to point to, in the last year, could have been a huge war over reapportionment in the House of Representatives, and there wasn't. Not only was it a peaceful process, at the end of it you had the Democrats praising the Speaker and, of course, David Dank and others who had helped to craft those reapportionment lines. And that's awfully important. Those are representative districts. They don't look weird. There was a couple of oddities, but for the most part, they look like, to me, they're going to be representative of the people in those districts. That's a past example, recent past.
No gerrymandering.
Of something good. No gerrymandering, at least in that case. In the present tense, I was impressed by Steele including Richard Morissette in the DHS, the effort to come up with a solution of DHS. So you've got sort of the stoic, methodical, analytical guy, Jason Nelson, the Republican, who will be running that subcommittee to look at DHS reform, and then you've got Richard, who's got passion and commitment and who cares. Whatever else you want to say, he really cares, and he cares about those issues, and he cares about kids. Well, I think that's a darn good combination to look at a really tough issue, is Nelson's mind and Morissette's spirit. So I salute that. I guess the last thing I'd say is, in the future, I think there's a good chance for continued tax reform combined with income tax reform, combined with fewer giveaways. I think the worst of some of those incentive programs we've talked about are going to get cleaned up and maybe go away. It's sort of like Brody Eldridge and the Sooners. You know, he was kind of critical because he was upset about a loss, and he made an analogy. You can disagree with him, but why did he say that? He said that because he loved the Sooners and he loved Oklahoma. Sometimes these disagreements, we forget that most of the folks coming to the table to argue about these issues really do care, and they want to find a solution. And for that, this reporter is thankful.
Well, we appreciate it, and thank you. You can read more about these and other topics at CapitolBeatOK.com. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.